Okay, Erkan, I see you. I'm going to get you set up here. There you are. Hello, Erkan. Welcome to FACE. Very nice to meet you. Asking you to unmute.
Unmute, yes. Hello?
I think I hear you. There you are. Nice to meet you, Erkan.
Nice to meet you, Dale. How are you?
Good. Have you ever used Zoom before?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I used it.
Okay, who hasn't, right, nowadays? So to share your screen, there's a green box in the drop down menu.
I know.
Okay, buddy.
No problem.
I've used it 1,000 times and I need to be reminded. So I'm very low tech.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Okay.
Will you ask the questions or will still?
Yeah, I'm going to ask the questions. I'm waiting
okay.
for you to share your screen. Do you want to do that, or you want me to share mine?
Sure. No problem. Yes, here we go.
So the first question is, how did you get involved in this industry? Tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are now.
I'm an economics journalist, actually. I started doing the business in 2003 in Turkey, in Istanbul. Later, I started working for Dow Jones Newswires and the Wall Street Journal Group. I was producing stories for them in English from Turkey. And later, I was transferred to Al Jazeera network. In that television, I found opportunity to make a deep research on 2008 crisis. And so when I made this deep research, I found that some unbelievable information. I found that the international monetary system is about to change, and the dollar system is about to change, and it will be replaced with something new and most probably related or maybe depending on something like gold or the similar monetary assets like silver or even Bitcoin. And I wrote a book in 2013 which has got a title. Maybe I can show the title.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and show it.
Well, on the screen. Let me find it first.
So you really came from a journalistic background.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had talked as a journalist. You were probably out there intelligence gathering, which I'm a big believer in, talking to experts, to other experts, to learn and put together your thesis. Were there any people that you credit giving you insights into what you published and what your thoughts
are? A lot of, first of all, Ben Bernanke and Alan Greenspan, their statements and their policies, and many other people like Nouriel Roubini. How can I say? Maybe other investors like Warren Buffett, Mark Yusko, many other people. And when I brought all these data and speeches, I found that the system on the brink of a very big change.
Is that what gold is currently signaling, and silver, and more recently dollar weakness?
Definitely. I predicted that in my 2013 book, and the book, if I can share the screen.
Okay, so what you do is you hit new share.
Okay, I fixed it, I guess. Now it will be opened in.
So, Erkan, in our business, the if is not as difficult as the when. The
Yeah,
art of this business is the when,
yeah,
right? Because
I
people have been
definitely
saying
know.
this, oh, come on. I mean, back to when I was new in the business, but you could go all the way back to the 70s and find things
Yes,
about the
sure,
death of the dollar after we came off the
sure.
gold standard. So, you have an idea of when's? Oh, there's some nice charts. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you are definitely right. And why this is not working? Uh, yeah. Now, can you see the?
You have a blank screen. You have nothing up right now. Prior, you
So,
had some charts. Jamie Dimon was on it. I think it would have to do with
let's start
probably,
sharing again. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
sure again.
Yes. Now
Oh,
you can
there's your
see it.
book. Yeah.
Yes, this is my book. Its title is 2020 Big Crisis, Wonderful Opportunity, New Economy. So for timing,
Oh, nice. And that
I,
was published when in 2013?
yes, definitely.
What,
October
what, what,
2013.
what led you to believe 2020 was the year? Certain
Uh,
cycles or
I
just your,
I calculated cycles, previous recession cycles, and
okay.
over it I put Ben Bernanke's famous speech. It must be in 2002 or something. Make sure deflation doesn't happen here. Speech, and that speech was giving you the stages. What will the Fed do in the future when something like 2008 happens?
Right.
And by bringing those two together, previous recession cycles and the roadmap of Ben Bernanke. And when I wrote the book in 2013, all the stages were already almost completed. One stage was missing, big tax cuts. And that is done by Trump after he was elected.
Okay.
And the scenario definitely completely realized, and my prediction was a hit. And I guess I have the world record on this, because later many people, including Ben Bernanke himself, predicted there will be something big in 2020, but they started issuing their predictions after 2018.
Yeah, you were early.
Yeah,
Is COVID an outlier to this whole thing, or
I
is it
guess
possible
it's
that you saw something like this coming as well?
in the book. I said that something natural could trigger the issue as well, and that's where COVID comes into play.
Okay.
And the real cause is told by this graph. It's total credit market debt as a percentage of US GDP.
Yeah.
Uh, we had a bigger pandemic, more lethal, which killed 50 million people around the world
Yeah.
in 1918
18. Yeah.
and
100 years ago.
1920.
Yeah.
And when you look at this chart, there's no credit bubble at that time. So there was no financial crisis at that time. We don't remember a big financial event in between 1918 and 1920. We have a mild recession, but we don't have a crisis. What we see here in 1929, there is a credit bubble. And after 1980 period, in which the US broke the ties between gold and US
Yeah.
dollar, you see the credit bubble skyrocketed. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. That's the weakness of the economy. So any natural cause like COVID would pull the trigger. It was obvious.
Okay. All right. So looking at this chart, I noticed that we had a crash even though credit was still expanding. And right here, what year do you call the real money Dow peak? That was probably based upon not adjusting for nominal gains with the dollar weakness. Is that correct?
When you
The,
calculate the nominal gains and real gains, you still have big gains in gold and silver.
okay. Well, I'm talking
In
about your real money Dow peak. What year was that? 2000?
I don't know.
Well, it's on your
No, no,
chart.
no, no, no. You mean here in the
I
graph?
mean, where you have printed real money Dow peak with an arrow. That's before, and then it continued. The credit expansion continued. What do you mean by real money Dow peak? That was
Ah,
subtracting.
you
Okay,
are
that's
saying
what I meant. Yeah,
this point, real money
yeah.
Dow peak. I don't know. I didn't make the graph actually.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know what they mean. I don't know
Okay.
what they mean.
All right. Well, all right. Anyway.
I never noticed that point on this graph.
Anyway, that's okay. So we'll have to put out a tweet and say on your interview
Maybe
and ask.
they are referring to Dow Gold ratio, and
Oh, could be.
they
Yeah.
they may be predicting they may be indicating the 2000 stock market Nasdaq bubble.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah,
that
it
must
looks
be the
like it's
point.
around 2000 where,
Yeah,
even though we've had bull markets after the dot-com crash, there are a lot of people that believe we started a secular bear market in 2000, even though the market doubled in value
yeah,
over that high.
yeah,
So,
of course.
all right. So here we are, a few months away from an election.
Hmm.
Does this play into your narrative at all
Sure,
in the U.S.?
election is also an uncertainty. I guess despite the polls, Trump has got a significant chance to be elected again. But it's still uncertainty, and there, there are three big reasons pushing gold and silver and also Bitcoin up nowadays. First of all, uncertainties, because we don't know what will happen about this COVID-19 health issue. Will it recover all over the world, or will we face another wave, second wave in the
What
fall?
do you think?
Uh, I guess it's probably will get worse in fall,
Okay.
and because especially in the United States, they are not administrating the problem properly. Even in
Right.
Turkey, there are some problems here as well, but we never had a discussion like should we wear masks or not. It's a very important problem, I
Let me
guess.
ask you this about Turkey, because it was one before the dollar started turning down quite forcefully here. The lira, the Turkish lira, has been
Mm,
in a bear market. To me,
yeah,
it seems like forever. And Erdogan
yes.
didn't want to use interest rates to support it. And um, what's your view, and how did the Turkish people handle currency depreciation? Because most populations, I don't care what country you're in, really aren't that sophisticated to know how to protect themselves in a currency crisis. How did your countrymen handle it? And what's your outlook for the lira now that the dollar is finally weakening? Could the lira rebound?
I don't think so, first of all,
Okay.
because the central bank doesn't have any proper US dollar reserves at the moment to facilitate a rebound in Turkish lira, and we have got a lot of debt payments to do. And
Well,
but
what you just mentioned is the dollar bulls argument for not a dollar crash right away, but a huge dollar rally that could occur first before we move into this new system, which creates a deflationary bust. So I could understand how gold could go up if we're going to have a deflationary period. Or are you of the mindset that we're headed towards not just inflation, but extreme inflation? What is, would you look at credit expansion? When the credit bubble pops, isn't that deflationary?
Sure, I guess the first we will have a deflationary environment again, like we had very
In
shortly
08?
in March or
Okay,
in
yeah.
08. First, we will have another deflationary wave, and then the central banks will start another round of money printing, and which will bring us to extreme inflationary conditions. But in Turkey, uh, this doesn't matter because Turkey's metrics data is very different, position is very different, and Turkish people are used to high inflation. From 70s to 90s, something like 20 years, Turkey was subject to inflation rates, annual inflation rates of 50%, 100%, and so on.
Well, how do people get by if their income doesn't increase by that much? What happens?
Everybody was adjusting themselves
How do you
according to the
adjust to
inflation.
losing purchasing power like that?
Uh, of
You
course,
don't eat?
not
You
like
don't
that.
go to the doctor? You
Every,
ask your
every,
landlord
every,
to, if, huh? How do you do it?
everybody was increasing the prices, and of course, they were increasing the wages as well. It was not
Okay,
like Venezuela.
okay. So
It was,
wages went up with the
of,
inflation.
of course, they were losing their purchasing power, and the environment was terrible. Uh, but they learned the way they how can they survive in this environment as well. And by the way, gold is a very uh, how can I say traditional investment in Turkey.
Right,
Every household has got gold in Turkey. When
right,
you make a wedding, everybody, all your friends and relatives bring gold to you.
right,
These are traditions, and gold money is invented in Western Anatolia, in Lydia kingdom, 600 BC. So there's a very strong market for gold in Turkey, and very strong tradition for investing in gold. And I guess in this last gold rally, which started in 2018, Turkish people made nearly $100 billion in terms of revenue from gold, because in Turkey, according to the prediction of World Gold Council, some 5,000 tons of gold is held by households. It's not in the financial system. So it's a way to protect yourself against
okay.
inflation.
So they had the history for doing so, not as much as perhaps the U.S., although I've heard stories how gold coins saved people during the 1930 depression here, that people
Mhm.
that had a few coins buried in a coffee can helped them survive that depression. So what okay, so someone's asking me this in our attendees: why has the Turkish lira not moved in price for the last month?
Because Erdogan administration actually closed the doors for
Oh, there's
foreign,
capital controls now?
not officially, but they
Okay.
closed all the swap lines. So it's an unofficial capital control and fixed rate regime now, which makes me happy as an investor because I don't need to worry about the US dollar at the moment. But I know when what happened last time they did it officially in 2000. Turkey implemented an official peg for US dollar, and it caused the worst financial crisis in Turkish history. I hope it doesn't happen again, but history tells a different story.
Okay, so let's talk history. If
Okay.
you're talking about global depression, you know, I know some people, and I want to know what you think is 2008. Okay, so the everything bubble. Okay, that's a nice chart. Why don't you keep it there?
Okay, I can keep it.
The depression, if it could be triggered, I know some people that are thinking that ground zero, unlike 2008, which was derivative paper on real estate here in the US being the trigger for the global Great Recession, that this time it's going to come out of Europe. A lot of people looking towards possibly Italy opting out of the euro. What's your view on what's going to happen to Europe? Is there still a threat? You know, all the people who are looking for the euro to trade under parity, is that now off the table or still on the table?
Still on the table, of course. If a second wave hits about this COVID-19, which is the base scenario for IMF. In their last report, they said that our base case scenario is a second wave will hit in early 2021. So if another wave of COVID-19 hits, Italy and Spain would be in very difficult condition. So,
well, weren't the Italian banks almost zombie banks anyway before COVID?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
But
I mean,
but
everyone's. Go ahead.
this euro thing is not only a financial and economic issue. Despite all these difficulties, they could remain in euro, and European Central Bank could try to take more measures to save them. But of course, they will be in whole Europe will be in very difficult conditions if the second wave hits.
Worse than the U.S.?
They are worse than US in every condition because they don't have a proper administration for whole Europe. Everybody is saying something different. They don't have
That's
a
right. Because it's
policy.
not a federal union.
Yes, and their banks are in very bad shape, and their population is very old. They don't have innovation.
Okay, demographic argument too.
Yes, yes.
How about China, Erkan? What's your view with all of this happening? Is this China? You know, a lot of people have been talking about the ascension of China, the yuan being part of maybe a new
It's
SDR or whatever. What do you think? They have plenty of debt too. It's harder to know. They're pretty opaque. But do you have a view on
sure.
China during this scenario?
China looks very similar to the United States before 1929 at the moment. They have
Wow.
a huge credit bubble, excess producing capacity, but the markets they need to export are closing. So they are on the brink of a deflation event similar to the 1929 big crisis, Great Depression. Maybe they could soften this with central planning. I mean, maybe they could achieve a policy which would not cause people starving. But they are not in good shape as well.
Okay.
Of course, there is something big happening in China. They are increasing their production capacity, and they will catch and most probably pass the United States as the world's largest economy in the coming years. But it doesn't mean that they have no problem. Everything is okay for them.
Yeah, maybe they come out of the reset better than
Yeah, maybe. And we don't know what politic results will emerge from that kind of depression in China, because traditionally Chinese administrations always fear of an uprising from,
yes.
especially the lower classes.
Yeah.
That's why they are uh, actually like something like fetishist about this growing economy. Because if they not grow the economy, they know that people will revolt, and
Okay.
they have a lot of problems as well.
Okay. I like to ask people who have not exactly the same type of bearish view that you have. A lot of bears have different reasons for looking for negative outcomes. I like to ask people that feel this way and see what type of, you know, problems and crises that are coming down the road, where they're going to ride it out. Are you going to ride it out in Turkey?
Sure, I have my plans since 2013 when I wrote the first book. Uh, I decided to play on limited supply monetary assets, because the central banks will flood the world with unlimited currency. So I decided to invest on gold, silver, Bitcoin, and some altcoins.
Okay.
And it's going very well up to now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the financial side.
Mhm.
Now, what you describe, and we're already seeing it happen here in the U.S. with COVID, is there is
Mhm.
some social unrest
Sure.
beginning to build. So you could have all the gold and silver you want, and if someone comes at you that's armed, you can't throw a Krugerrand at them, hit them in the head, and think that's going to stop them. So with all this social unrest, do you recommend that people seek out certain havens where it won't be, where they could watch it on TV instead of being in the middle of it, Erkan?
Sure, that's another part and very important part of the issue, the problem, or the
Where
plan.
would be a couple of good locations?
Uh, I would not have. I made a video on this on my YouTube channel,
Oh,
and
okay.
I discussed the two approaches. Uh, what was the English name? Dug in or dug out, something like that. Bug in or bug out.
Oh, bug out. Yeah, you're
Bug
bug
out,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you
Okay.
prefer to stay in your location, in your house, or would you prefer to go out with all these equipment and etc.? And in Turkey, people are considering to go back to their villages, because it's still vivid here. They have got relatives in rural areas.
Okay.
And
Get
I
out of
are,
urban areas like
yeah,
Ankara. Okay.
not actually. Ankara is a big city in Turkey. For example, every city has got rural areas, even Istanbul. And now I said in that video that it doesn't matter if you bug in or bug out.
Interesting.
The important thing is you need a network of trustworthy people around you, because you cannot survive alone. Forget about that. Uh, if you have relatives in the rural area and if you are good with them, go and
Even
visit them.
even mother-in-laws?
I don't know. If you are good with them, why not? I
I
was
tell you
very
what.
I was very good with my mother-in-law when I was married
Okay. All right.
some
I'm
4
just
years
kidding.
ago.
All you mother-in-laws out there. I don't want to have a million emails.
Okay.
Mother-in-laws are, looking after their children's interests. So, it was eye-opening here, Erkin. Do you have any kind of, uh, you're, I know a lot of people think that what's happening in the U.S., all the liquidity that the Fed is pumping into the economy, that this isn't as much about liquidity as it is about solvency,
Sure.
and liquidity cannot solve a solvency issue. Do you
Yes,
agree with that?
definitely 100%.
All right. Well,
Before the COVID-19, because of this huge credit bubble, let me show
zombie
it
companies.
again. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. There was some, maybe according to the BIS numbers, 12% globally, and with some calculations, 20% in the US. There were zombie companies already. So uh, when this COVID-19 thing hit the globe, now they are in a much worse position. And even very famous companies are were already zombie companies like Tesla, like
Right.
Netflix, and this will turn into a solvency issue. You are very right, and
Yeah.
we will see it when the second wave hits, or even the second COVID-19 wave doesn't hit, wouldn't hit. We need to see if the Federal Reserve printed enough money to cover the dark hole created in the economy.
Okay.
That's
We have a Fed meeting this week, and I know you told me you had some other interviews today. Why don't we wrap it with what do you think the Fed's going to say this week? Everything's
uh,
great. Everything's
I
okay.
think they
Don't
will
worry.
say, "Don't worry." First of all,
Yes. Okay.
they will not change the rates. Of course, they will
Yeah.
say that there will be no negative rates in the United States.
Yeah.
But they will also say that we will do whatever needed
Whatever. Yeah.
if other dangers emerge.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Erkan. Anyone who goes through an interview with me becomes my trading warrior brother. So
Thank you very much.
you survived it, and there were a lot of eye-opening things. I'd like to have you back sometime in the fall so
Sure,
we
why
could
not?
see what's happening. And I really appreciate you coming today and fielding questions and edifying the faith community. Thank you, Erkan.
Thank you very much. It was great pleasure.
All right, I had a good time. We had a few laughs, so good combination of compelling information and fun, right?
Yeah. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
buddy. So everyone, you could follow Erkan. Do you have other places? You mentioned your YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Um,
you can type my
okay, I have to ask you one more thing.
sure.
What is the Wizard of
Oz.
Twoo? TWOO.
Normally it's Wizard of Oz,
Right.
of course. I think I forgot it why I did that, because it's a sub Twitter account for me. It's a backup Twitter account. My real Twitter account is dash Erkan Oz, at dash Erkan Oz,
Oh,
and
okay. Because I
uh,
found you on this one.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, are those the two places people could find you? And
Yeah, I'm mostly active on Twitter and YouTube, and if you type my name on YouTube, Erkan Öz, you will definitely find me,
okay,
and of course in Twitter as well.
okay. So, as a resource for what may lie ahead, and congratulations on writing in 2013
Thank you
that
very much.
2020 was going to be a key pivotal year.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
you being
much.
with us again, Erkan. Good
Thank you
hunting,
very
buddy.
much.
And may
You
you and
too,
your loved ones remain untouched.
of course, and same
Inshallah.
feelings for you. Oh, great.
Inshallah,
Thank you
buddy.
very much.
All right,
Thank you
brother.
very much.
Take
Bye.
it easy. Bye-bye. All right, so that's a wrap, everyone. Hope you enjoyed listening to Erkan. And don't tell me that worrying doesn't work, because almost everything I worry about doesn't happen. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. We'll see everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Adios. You're very welcome, everyone.